8 of the best islands to must visit in Stockholm Archipelago. Number 1. Vaxholm. Vaxholm is known as the gateway to Stockholm's archipelago. It's relatively close to the city center and is connected to the mainland by a bridge, but it's also the first stop for most ferries heading further out into the archipelago. To get there from Strömkajen in central Stockholm, take a Vaxholmsbolaget ferry. A one-way journey costs 79 Swedish kronas and takes between 50 and 80 minutes, depending on what time of day you leave. During summer, Cinderella boats also make the journey from Strandviken in around 50 minutes, but you can expect to pay around 115 Swedish kronas for a one-way trip. Number 2. Kayaking. A great option for those who love nature and outdoor activities, kayaking in the archipelago is a unique way to enjoy the area. The day-long tours are open to all abilities, even if you've never kayaked before. The views are different from every island, and you'll have the opportunity to explore the numerous coves and secret passages dotted throughout. An unforgettable way to experience some of the most spectacular scenery in Europe. Opening hours. Tours run Thursday to Sunday from June to September. Number 3. Hjalmararna. Honestly, the little group of islands known as Hjalmararna is so close to the city center that the only acceptable excuse for missing it is bad weather. Once you get to Storfjäderholmen, the main island, you can take a stroll along the seafront, go on a short hike into the forest trails that run through the middle of the island, or play a few fun rounds of pool at Röda Villan, a popular restaurant set in a red wooden house that's surrounded by mature trees. The one-way trip costs around 63 Swedish kronas on the Vaxholmsbolaget ferry, but the cost may vary. Cinderella ferries also cover this route. Number 4. Grenda. Grenda is often talked about as the bathing paradise of Stockholm. People from all over the city head there during the weekends to get their share of sun, swim, and relaxation during the summer. Grenda is almost completely owned by Stiftelsen, the Archipelago Foundation, which helps to preserve the island's natural beauty. This makes Grenda particularly lush and clean, with totally free access to explore the forest or swim to your heart's content. The Vaxholmsbolaget ferry to Grenda costs around 95 Swedish kronas and takes about 2 hours. It makes sense to get off at South Grenda, since it takes another half an hour to reach the northern boat dock. Number 5. Svartsö. It's probably best to dock at Alsvik, since there's a small beach there perfect for sunbathing. It's also close to the island's only restaurant, Svartsö Krog, a famously good place to eat if you didn't pack a lunch. Renting a bike is highly recommended on Svartsö. It's a great way to check out the island's surprisingly varied scenery. Expect freshwater lakes, forests, open farmland, and views of the Baltic Sea. Svartsö is also reachable using the Vaxholmsbolaget ferries from Strömkajen. It's about half an hour past Grenda. A one-way trip costs around 116 Swedish kronas. While Svartsö is actually one of the larger islands in the archipelago, with its own little community, the population is seriously small. Less than 100 people live here all year round. This makes this remote, lesser-known island an amazing spot to go out and enjoy some peaceful time with nature. Number 6. Burka. It is said that Burka was Sweden's first city, and it can be found on the island of Björkö or Birch Island. As one of the most significant trading spots of Vikings, this is a city rich in history and cultural heritage. In fact, Burka is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The highlight of a visit to Burka is taking a tour of the Viking village. Step inside traditional Viking homes, learn about daily life in Viking times, and learn about how the black soil of Burka helped the city to thrive. Once you have finished in the village, head to restaurant Sandom for a hearty lunch overlooking the sea. Number 7. Sandom. Sandom is the furthest destination from Stockholm on this list, and you'll need to take the Cinderella cruise line from the docks at Strandviken to get there. The trip will take just over 2 hours, and needs to be booked in advance on their website. A round-trip ticket costs around 320 Swedish kronas. Sandom is a beautiful destination that's well worth the time and cost of the trip. Sometimes people get confused about the name of this island. To be clear, Sandom is the name of the pretty harbor village you'll arrive at, while the island itself is called Sandom. Want to stay the night? There are a comfy bed and breakfast just up from the beach on the island's north coast. Book ahead. Number 8. Stockholm Archipelago. The Stockholm Archipelago is one of the most impressive landscapes in all of Europe, home to some 24,000 islands that sit in the Baltic Sea. Typically, travelers associate island hopping with Southeast Asia or the Caribbean, but in a short 1-hour trip from Stockholm city center, you can be in an island paradise, just a comparatively chilly one. What makes the Stockholm Archipelago so incredible is that many of the islands are uninhabited and are true wildernesses. Naturally, the Stockholm Archipelago is best experienced by boat. To know more about Sweden, just subscribe, and if you like this video, give thumbs up.